Welcome back, friends, to the Juicebox Podcast. Arden's back today, and we're going to discuss why laughter and yawning is contagious, but you know we'll end up talking about more than that. Nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan. If you're living with type 1 diabetes, the After Dark collection from the Juicebox Podcast is the only place to hear the stories that no one else talks about. From drugs to depression, self-harm, trauma, addiction, and so much more. Go to juiceboxpodcast.com, up in the menu, and click on After Dark. There you'll see a full list of all of the After Dark episodes. If you find yourself enjoying today's show, please share it with someone else who you think might also enjoy it. And don't forget to subscribe or follow the podcast in your favorite audio app. It really helps the show. Don't forget to save 40% off of your entire order at CozyEarth.com. All you have to do is use the offer code JUICEBOX at checkout. That's JUICEBOX at checkout to save 40% at CozyEarth.com. Today's episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by the Dexcom G7, and the Dexcom G7 warms up in just 30 minutes. Check it out now at dexcom.com/juicebox. US Med is sponsoring this episode of the Juicebox Podcast, and we've been getting our diabetes supplies from US Med for years. You can as well. usmed.com/juicebox or call 888-721-1514. Use the link or the number, get your free benefits check, and get started today with US Med. Should we do today Can Dogs Love, Homing Pigeons?
I don't even know what that means.
How do homing pigeons know where they're going? And how do they get back?
What is a homing pigeon?
A pigeon. They used to take pigeons and put little messages on tie them on their legs, and then send them off.
Oh.
But then
why wouldn't you just call it the pigeon with the message?
Because they're called homing pigeons.
No one knows that.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. All right, hold on a second. That's on there. We could do time.
That's too much. I can't do that right now.
Why is laughter and yawning contagious? Is Taylor Swift evil?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't want to do how life insurance works. How do they dig tunnels? Sign language?
The yawning thing, I think we were actually talking about in my class, and there is no evidence of why that's contagious at all.
Why is laughter and yawning contagious? That's what we're talking about today. And you're saying that there's no evidence of it at all?
Well, laughter's not contagious. It's just like someone laughs, like it makes you laugh. Like you think it's like funny or like you have a reaction to it. But yawning is like there's no evidence that like anything is happening.
But I'm going to yawn now because you said yawning.
I know. I feel like I'm going to yawn too. That's why I think this is a bad idea to do that one.
We're already a minute into it. We're sticking with it. Let's start with laughter. So the phrase laughter is contagious, I don't think it's meant like you laugh and then I uncontrollably laugh.
Well, then that's just a stupid thing to talk about. Like, yeah, like obviously if someone laughs and like you're going to have a reaction to it and it's going to be laughter.
But maybe not though, because remember, tell everyone you don't enjoy stand-up comedy. Not your thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's a real skill.
Okay. So Arden's not a stand-up comedian loving person.
I just don't like stand-up comedy where they have to write their script out in advance because then you're not really a comedian. You're just a writer.
You're also performing it.
Yeah, but I don't think that they're funny.
But this is not the point. The point is if we put stand-up comedy on television, which is very popular nowadays, right? You stare right through it. It doesn't grab your attention. You don't laugh. And then was it last summer? 2 summers ago for my birthday, we saw John Mulaney live.
Oh, I was laughing when he told his cereal story.
You were the person we took that we were like, oh, this is just a waste of a seat. She's not going to like this. But you laughed throughout his performance.
I giggled for sure, but like I didn't. There are some stand-up comedians that I just don't think are funny at all. I think John Mulaney has a funny essence about him. So like he's just funny to look at, and that makes him funny. And he's literally voices a pig in Spider-Man. Like he's just funny.
Wait, why is he funny to look at?
He's a funny looking guy.
Is he?
You don't think he's funny looking? He's literally a cartoon character.
I've never really thought about it. Now I have to look. Also, he's married to a very pretty lady.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it even funnier.
What makes that funnier?
Like, how did that, like, what? You just feel like, what?
He looks like a
cartoon character. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say he looks like a puffier Jason Bateman.
He looks like if a board game character could walk.
In his face?
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of like Fix-It Felix from Wreck-It Ralph. You know who that is?
Now I got to look this up. I don't know. Fix-It Felix?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, how about that? I'll be damned.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good call.
Yeah, he just has a cartoony vibe about him.
Mm-hmm.
So that automatically just makes you funny. Like some people have that like comedian essence, and he has that. There's some people you listen to who are comedians who I don't find them funny at all. Like I just don't find them funny. But when he told that cereal story, I was cracking up. But also like it's not like he wrote the joke, like he was reading an article.
I know, but we've now seen him do it. Like, so this was interesting because you felt like, oh, he's not really performing this. But then a friend of yours.
Oh, I didn't say he wasn't performing it. There's something about the fact that comedians will write their scripts in advance and then like try to perform it for you and try to be funny about it that I don't find to be funny.
Yeah, I know. You have a very strong feeling about this.
I think like comedians who do like audience work or whatever it's called, like use the audience.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're naturally funny because they're coming up with stuff on the spot. And I think his delivery of reading that article was funny. And also a lot of what he told was stories that had happened to him. I think storytelling can be funny, but I don't think like comedians who like make up literal jokes are funny. Like every time I watch America's Got Talent and a comedian goes on, automatically I want someone to press the red buzzer.
I think they're just bad comedians generally, though.
Yeah, they are.
So are there stand-up comics that you can think of who you enjoy and you laugh at their storytelling?
Who's that guy on TikTok? You know what? He doesn't really make me laugh, but he also has he's a little funny looking. And sometimes he'll do stuff that makes me laugh. And I'm like, ha ha ha.
You're not talking about
He reminds me like are you going to speak over me again?
Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Because we can see each other talking. He reminds me of like a geeky version of Seth Cohen, like a geekier version. You know who Seth Cohen is?
No.
From the OC.
I thought you were going to say Matt Rife, that handsome boy that does the TikTok.
I don't think he's funny.
I have to tell you what, his TikToks are funny, but I tried to stand up, and no offense to him, but it was bad. So
what is this guy's name? I'll find it.
I just want to say too that John Mulaney's ex-wife has like an edge to her, which you wouldn't expect. And she's writing a memoir, but not mentioning him in it. Why am I reading an Anne-Marie?
Oh,
go ahead.
His name is Jeff Arcuri.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, that's right.
This guy you think is funny?
No, I don't think that he is funny. I think that when the crowd interacts with him, it's funny.
He's good at what they call crowd work. What's that podcast you love?
And he's funny looking. Oh, The Basement Yard.
Is that it?
I love The Basement Yard. They also like aren't even funny. They're just really dumb. They're just really dumb. And I think like if you met them and told them like, I don't know if you guys are even super funny, you really don't know a lot about life, they would like be like, yeah. And then agree with you.
You don't think they're putting that dumb thing on?
No, I don't think they are.
What do I call it every time I ask you about it? I'm like, what's that? I call it like dumpster podcast. Why do I think that?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go backwards for a second. Anne-Marie Tendler married to John Mulaney for years before I believe he maybe went what they call off the wagon and she left him or something like that. But who is she? Like, why does she get to write a book that doesn't? Oh, she's already a writer.
I remember watching comedians in cars getting coffee. and John Mulaney being on an episode and him having to go rug shopping for her. And that's it. That's the only time I've ever heard of her.
She's written 3 books, The Daily Face, Pin It, 20 Fabulous Somethings, and Men Have Called Her Crazy. So she's a writer, and now they're letting her write a more personal book, but I don't understand why. I mean, if you're not going to mention John Mulaney, do I care? Known professionally as Anne-Marie Tendler, is an American multimedia artist known for her work in photography, makeup, hairstyle, textile crafts, and notable specialty is handmade lampshades. You can be famous for making lampshades? Oh my God, that's upsetting. But then he married Olivia Munn, who's out of his league, right?
Yeah.
Like visually, I know we're not supposed to talk about people that way, but right?
Well, yeah.
I don't know how you guys order your diabetes supplies like CGMs, pumps, and testing equipment, but at our house, we use US Med. And I'm going to walk you through the entire process right now. I'm looking at the email from US Med. It says, "It's time to refill your prescription. Dear Arden, please click the button below to place your next order." Then you click the button. That was it. 2 days later, I got this email. "Thank you for your order from US Med. We wanted to let you know that your order," and it gives you an order number, "was shipped via UPS ground. You can track your package at any time using the link below." And then there was a link, and then it showed up at our house. Now I'm going to walk you through the entire chain of events. On the 29th, which was a Saturday, I clicked on the email. On that Monday, the 1st, I got an email that said the order had been sent. 4 days later, on the 5th, the package arrived. If you can do it easier than that, you go get it. But if you can't, usmed.com/juicebox or call 888-721-1514. Get started today with US Med. Get your diabetes supplies the same way we do. The Dexcom G7 is sponsoring this episode of the Juicebox Podcast, and it features a lightning fast 30-minute warm-up time. That's right. From the time you put on the Dexcom G7 till the time you're getting readings, 30 minutes. That's pretty great. It also has a 12-hour grace period, so you can swap your sensor when it's convenient for you. All of that on top of it being small, accurate, incredibly wearable, and light. These things, in my opinion, make the Dexcom G7 a no-brainer. The Dexcom G7 comes with way more than just this. Up to 10 people can follow you. You can use it with type 1, type 2, or gestational diabetes. It's covered by all sorts of insurances. And this might be the best part. It might be the best part. Alerts and alarms that are customizable so that you can be alerted at the levels that make sense to you. Dexcom.com/juicebox. Links in the show notes. Links at juiceboxpodcast.com to Dexcom and all of the sponsors. When you use my links, you're supporting the production of the podcast and helping to keep it free and plentiful. Yeah, I mean, like she's
pretty.
Yeah,
she has a sort of pretty that's like she's both pretty on a screen, but also if she was walking down the street, like I would be like, she's pretty too.
Yeah, she's got that vibe,
and it's not like overwhelming at all. It's just like, oh, she's very pretty.
He outkicked his coverage. Why did they use that as a saying?
I don't even know what that means.
It's like,
I really think that you should explain the cereal portion of what I'm talking about so that people understand what I mean.
Well, how am I going to explain that?
Fine, I'll do it.
You can remember it?
I do remember it because I was peeing my pants. Also, for some reason, we had seats and I was the only one who wasn't sitting with our family. I was sitting behind all of you guys and I was sitting next to a random family. And I was like trying to stay quiet, but like I just physically, like I couldn't, like I was crying.
Yeah, you were cracking up. And honestly,
yes, at that certain part, did you not remember?
Yeah, but we all thought you were, well, first, can I read you this? And then and you tell me why it's funny. Laughter is actually contagious. It's not just a saying. When people hear someone laugh, their brains can automatically respond, creating a desire to laugh along, even without fully understanding the reason behind the laughter. It happens because of mirror neurons, specialized brain.
Oh, I just learned about mirror neurons. It's when you do what the opposite person is doing. Yeah. Like your neurons act like they're neurons.
That really happens. Specialized brain cells that activate when we see or hear others perform an action. This is why I cry when people cry.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I just had a whole test I had an exam on this a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, here. These neurons play a big role in empathy and mimicry. Laughter is also a social bonding tool in group settings. Laughter can help create a sense of connection. I mean, these are things we know, but
that's why I think that this like connects to like, you know, like when you people go to like a zoo and they like talk to like apes and gorillas and stuff, and they'll like do what you're doing. It's because they have a conscious, like their consciousness is there.
Yeah.
Like they pass the mirror test or something called the mirror test. So like there's certain animals that can, like they look in a mirror and they know that they're there. They don't think it's another animal.
You brought up the mirror test in another episode.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. So like mirror neurons, so they're like doing what we're doing.
Gorillas are intelligent animals whose cognitive abilities are often compared to those of young human children.
Mm-hmm. Like toddlers or something like that.
I mean, I've met some kids that were
older.
I would be like, that kid's not as smart as a monkey. Like, so maybe, you know what I mean? Okay, so
I sent Mom a video of a monkey doing.
Wait, a monkey doing what?
A sit up.
Okay.
And I thought it was so funny, and she did not respond to it. I just got left on to the living room. Do you want to see it?
She just never. I would like to see the thing. And I have the full GQ article that John reads from in the bit that you
Wait,
like.
ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
I sent it to her and she didn't respond to me. Anyways.
Listen to me. Mm-hmm. Tell people how much you love little monkeys and that you would definitely have one.
I want to pet monkeys so bad. I know they say that they attack people, but part of me thinks that me and monkeys think very similarly, and that those who I want to attack, the monkey would want to attack. So I'm not a danger.
You think you and the monkey would vibe and therefore it would be okay?
Oh, completely.
Wait.
You mean a monkey?
The ones people keep, the little capuchin monkeys.
Capuchin, like who doesn't want something called a capuchin monkey?
Well, let's see. The pros are they're intelligent, known for their problem-solving skills. Maybe they could help you with your coding test. And the cons are they can be aggressive if not properly trained and socialized. They also live to 40 years old, requiring a long-term commitment.
Oh, it's going to live longer than me.
What's your longest relationship so far?
Like romantic?
Yeah.
11 months.
Because you got to make it.
I'm only 20.
If we get you a monkey right now, you'll be 60 when it passes away.
It's crazy.
There are also marmosets people keep, but they're like wild animals. The care is very specific. Tamarins, specialized diet care requirements, can live 15 to 20 years. Squirrel monkeys, they require social interaction.
Squirrel, why would you name something a different animal? Squirrel monkey. It's like spider monkey. Isn't that a thing?
It's the next one on the list. Spider monkeys. Their intelligence. Yeah, their intelligence means they can be quite destructive if bored. They can live 30 plus years.
They're so me.
In many places, keeping monkeys as a pet is illegal. That one lady had that chimpanzee, and it like took that.
Oh, attacked that woman.
Yeah, like her friend. It like I think really hurt her. Okay, so I have here John Mulaney's GQ article.
The article?
Yeah.
Did she send it to me?
No, hold on. I'll send it to you. And then you're going to tell people why it was so funny. All right, hold on a second.
It's so funny. It's important to say, well, some people have probably seen this. It's on Netflix. But it's important to say that the whole, what were we at? The whole stand-up act
right
is about how he had just gotten out of rehab.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So it's like kind of serious because he just got out of rehab, but it's also comedy. And this is his ending. This was his closing thing. I remember it because I thought, oh my God, I'm going to pee my pants. I got to get out of here.
You're just looking at it now and making you laugh?
I'm just reading it again. So wait, what happened? Someone called him to do a GQ calls him to do
an interview. But he's whacked out of his mind.
Oh yeah, he is on heavy drugs. Right. I feel like we have to read the whole interview. Who do you want to be? I don't even know.
What do you want? Do you want to be John or do you want to be the interviewer?
I don't even know. How am I going to get through it?
By the way, John Mulaney has spoken about being addicted to alcohol, cocaine.
I love that he can joke about it.
And Vicodin are some things that he's talked about. And this whole... Good.
Do you see the first question?
Hold on a second. The original story's below.
It's like bolded. The first question's bolded.
Did you see any ghosts today?
Why did he ask her? Why did he ask? Wait, I'm confused why she asked him that. I'm trying to figure it out. Who do you want me to be, John?
Sure, I'll ask the questions. You be John Mulaney.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Did you see any ghosts today?
I haven't, but I walked past what is supposedly the most haunted building in New York City.
Oh, where is that?
It's a vacuum cleaner store on 14th between 5th and 6th, and it used to be a boarding house. My, oh my, apparently just incredibly haunted, like poltergeist haunted.
What about vacuum cleaner store made you laugh immediately?
Because what the hell is he talking about? Oh,
all right, get up on that microphone when you're reading. Did you get a chill or a bad vibe?
It doesn't give me a bad vibe anymore. I think when I first walked past it, I knew what it was. So maybe I faked the bad vibes. Although I walked by a house that was haunted in Los Angeles and I didn't know it was haunted. It was just kind of like, oh, what's this house? And then slowly I was like, I don't like this place. I'm going to walk away from here with my dog. And then I found out it was called the Murder House of Los Feliz. And it had a terrible history. That's the only time I've really had a creeping sense of ghouls and ghosts out of nowhere. And then have it be proven correct. What is he talking about? It's fantastic.
Why don't you ask the next question? I'll do that answer.
I feel like there's a horror comedy in your head begging to come out at some point.
Well, I'm trying to think. I'm not good with horror devices like twists and things like that, but I could write a comedy about someone who's just haunted and scary. I do have an idea. I used to watch this show, Ghost Kids, Children of the Paranormal, and it was about real life Sixth Sense kids, and it was very compelling. And I believed these kids, and I always thought that would be fun, like Bad News Bears type movie, where either one of the players sees ghosts, or maybe it's kind of like a down and out team because they all see ghosts and that's their thing, as opposed to being like the team without much money. They're the team, but this is like a Coke rant if I've ever heard one. They're the team that sees ghosts, so that's why they're last in the league. And if you think, I'm not just making that up, I'm not just making that movie up on my feet, you're absolutely wrong. I'm coming up with it as we speak. All right, hold on. Would you watch? But I don't want to add to your plate, which is already pretty full. Look at the interview trying to be nice to him and like bringing him back a little bit. You have this Marvel Contest of Champions thing you're doing, which is a continuation of your Spider-Ham role. Actually, we're coincidentally talking on the anniversary of Spider-Verse. It turns 2 today.
It does turn 2, yeah. I remember 2 years ago going, oh, Into the Spider-Verse is out. I'm not just kidding. I do recall it. You know why? It was the first movie I was ever in, so it was a big deal.
Then it went on to critical and popular acclaim. That's always good.
Yes, which Peter Ramsey and Bob Perschetti
Mm-hmm.
and Rodney Rothman, they made such an incredible film that I definitely felt a part of it. It felt like watching a perfect meal being served, and I knew I'd chopped the garlic. I felt in all of it. And then people go, congratulations. I'd be like, on what? And then they'd be like, the movie. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's other people. And they're like, no, you're in it. And I'm like, okay, fine. If you want to give me credit, I'll take it.
You had his cadence there a little bit.
I know, because that's how he was saying. All right, I'll ask the next one.
Okay, good.
Well, how does it feel to be reprising the character again now for this campaign that you're doing?
It's so natural. It's crazy. The thing that was fun about doing this character was that I spoke in my voice the way I talk, with slight volume raises, but it took until someone offered me a Spider-Man pig character before I could say like, oh, they just want me to be me. I feel like Cary Grant got a lot of those offers where he's like, where he's like, I see. They just want the Cary Grant shoot. In my first records, I was like, what are you looking for? And they were like, talk the way you would.
This also coincides with the new season of Big Mouth. It seems like you gravitate towards voiceover work a lot more often than some of your peers. What is that you like about it?
Oh, I really like it, first off. It's something about the acting. It's performative fully. If you watch someone do an animated voiceover, you're throwing the action into it. You're trying as much as possible to recreate the loss of breath or the fact that they're struggling to get over something. And other than breathing on the mic too harshly, you're able to kind of act in that space. He's like, you can't breathe into the mic. I find it really fun. Also, it's an easier way to do like 5 takes in a row. You can be like, actually, let me do 5 blamos. And there's not camera rolling and 100 grips and lighting guys. So you can just go, let me do 5 blamos. And it says here in the article, he proceeds to read blammo 5 different ways. Blammo, 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 blammo. And that's acting, what I just did. So you can really play around even more so than you can on set. What's interesting is when you first get into the voiceover booth, normally I'm coming off the subway and I haven't been in talking and yelling. So everyone comes into voiceover. It's not that they're rusty. It's just more like they're just used to speaking in an inside voice. So the first takes of any animated thing, be it Big Mouth or this new Chip and Dale project or Spider, like how he throws in his Chip and Dale project or Spider-Verse, the first takes are always like, hi, this is Peter Porker. I'm here. I'm a reporter. I want to help too. And they're like, okay, great. Now do it with energy. And as if you were definitely Peter Porker and not someone who was just on the subway. Hold on, I'll read you the next one. It's awesome. He's awesome. He must have been...
We're about to get to the best part.
Okay. Well, the whole thing's the best part. I don't care what people think. You have the Chip and Dale thing with Sandberg. I'm sensing a theme of voiceover characters here.
I love how you said that I chose them. I must admit, I, for a very long time, very much wanted voiceover work, and then Big Mouth, then Spider-Verse came along, and I was like, yes, yes. So I don't want to say I just accepted these films because I would take anything, but more like I was really open to it, and then they offered it, so I took it.
What about the Spider-Ham role? Specifically, do you enjoy tapping into, especially now that you're getting to do more of this time around?
I like that he takes his day job seriously. He has an air of he's always pushing the reporter thing first. I like that I don't know if he, maybe compared to some of the other Spider-Verse spider creatures, he might have the highest EQ, seems very sensitive about himself and others, but I mainly like that he talks in an old-timey voice and says stuff like blammo. And I think also can't help himself with hand puns. Anyone who goes for jokes constantly, even though they know that they're completely hack and stupid, is always a hero.
All right, let's take a breath.
Wait, Dad, this is the best one. I want to be him.
Okay. I want to talk about how this year has been for you creatively, because around this time last year, you were coming off Sack Lunch Bunch, which was arguably one of your biggest creative risks, and it really paid off. How has your creative process been impacted by this year?
If you heard that spoon, it's because I'm eating a bowl of Fruit Loops. Working in this new reality, at first I thought, okay, now's your chance. Literally, you'll be alone without any collaborators. You can write anything you want. There's no clock. And what I realized was I really like working with other people, which was not hard once people really dove into working over Zoom. At first, when I heard about that, I was like, there's no way people are going to work this way. I don't know why I was so skeptical, but I was. And I definitely was thrilled once I started being in touch with friends again and collaborating on the new Sack Lunch Bunches and did the Oh Hello podcast, The Life and Death of Princess Diana. Once I was back, even virtually, with the people I love collaborating with, like Nick Kroll or Marika Sawyer, I felt much more at home. The idea of sitting alone waiting, maybe someday I'll have my ADHD under control and we'll be able to do it. I'm normally on stage with an audience or with other people writing documentary now or recording Big Mouth or those movies. I'm not Philip Roth, and I know you'll think I'm Philip Roth Frazier, but I'm not.
Oh man, you just popped the bubble.
I know, I'm sorry. I'll ask the next question.
Go ahead.
Wait. All right. Has working on late night with Seth Meyers given you that structure you were seeking?
Laughs. So I guess he laughs. It's really fun. And it's really fun to go into an office and work with friends. It's not simply a case of structure, but yes, it is nice to have an office to go to where it's super safe. After doing Saturday Night Live, I thought I really miss going into a workplace. When I realized I had very lucky opportunity to go into Seth's show, I was stoked because I realized not a lot of people get to recreate that or have that interaction right now. So I'm extremely lucky to be able to.
Watching your segments made me wonder, would you ever build up to having your own talk show, just John Mulaney and guests?
Well, it's interesting you say that from my segments. I don't know if the persona I'm playing in those segments would get his own talk show, but I always wanted to do a talk show where the guest is always someone from a job that I don't understand. I'd love to interview a dog catcher and be like, what's that like? How do you feel about yourself? I'm not judging, but I am a little. How do you feel rounding up dogs and taking them to the pound? I had two ideas for a talk show once. And by ideas, I mean I thought about them in the privacy of my own room. One would be just interviewing people who do anything that interests me. And I don't mean like on the ground and I'm watching them do their job. It would be like a talk show set and they'd come out and there'd be a band and so forth. In case you were confused that he meant go to work with him. The other thing was just to have only elderly people on, which I obviously would not do to the risks. But I just thought it would. What are the fucking risks of having elderly people?
I think this was during COVID.
Oh, okay. All right. But I just thought it would be great to talk to old people, especially if they were comfortable talking about being at the end of their lives and just go, did you like it? Did you not? Ideally, maybe like a 4-year-old and an 84-year-old or a 40-year-old and a 94-year-old. That would be our ideal lineup.
Okay, I think we should skip to the bottom.
Okay.
Where she says to him...
This goes on forever. Everyone should read this, by the way.
Where she says to him, I think what we've established in this conversation is that there are a ton of different ideas rattling around in your head that you should definitely make happen.
If that's what people took away from this, I'd be thrilled.
She says, I don't want to take too much of your time away from the Fruit Loops.
They're done. They're long gone. Frasier.
Was he eating the Fruit Loops the whole time?
I believe so. Because she heard the spoon fantastic. At one point.
And it ends, and she says, we're a year away from Sack Lunch now, one of the key segments, and that was talking about fears. After the year that we've all had, I wanted to know if your fears changed with 2020.
Well, I think a lot of people have noticed what isolation is actually like. It's not good for you. I think people have adopted a great deal more compassion in some regards for their fellow man. Isolation certainly is, I don't know if it's a fear so much as now appreciate how scary it is that other people pretty much make life worth living. But my major fear remains the same, which is the Russian mafia. So now in the stand-up, what does he end up? By the way, Fraser Tharp is the editor at GQ, specialized in dictating entertainment coverage. I believe Fraser is the writer of this piece. They are. I mean, kudos, Fraser. It's wonderful. But what does he say then in the stand-up afterwards? Like, did he was just...
No, it ends. The stand-up ends,
That's just where it ends. He just reads that at the end of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like, thank you for having me, whatever. But it's the way that he does the Fruit Loops part. And I can't take it. I think he might have had like a spoon with him that he dropped.
On stage? No, yeah, I don't think so.
Something happened.
I feel like
he makes the sound or something.
Yeah, you were just so into it at that point, though.
And he says the whole, like, if you heard that noise.
I dropped my spoon. You should watch this. Do you know what it's called?
I don't know, just like of John Mulaney.
But do you think you were laughing because you were in a big group of people? Like, do you think if you would have seen that at home, you wouldn't have laughed like that?
Maybe. I don't know. It's possible. But God, the Fruit Loops killed me. I was long gone after that one.
Is it Baby J?
No, I don't think so.
It is.
Is it?
It is, because that's his latest one from 2023. It's called Baby J. I'm sorry I couldn't hear you that great because Netflix was playing in my ears when I was looking. So when you're around your friends...
Oh, it is. It is.
Okay, when you're around your friends, you guys giggle like crazy.
Yeah, they have a lot to say.
But do you think...
Well, I've also known them their whole lives, so, I know every detail about them, what makes things funny, what's not funny.
Okay.
I don't know. The whole yawning thing, though, I don't know. I can't help you with that.
What do you mean you can't help me with that?
There's no evidence to that.
Why do you mean there's no... That happens to everybody, doesn't it?
Yeah, but there's no evidence to why that happens, is what I'm trying to tell you.
It says there is. Hold on a second.
No, there isn't.
It brings up mirror neurons again. In fact, it is so contagious that you don't ever have to see another person yawn to yawn yourself. Sometimes all it takes is hearing a yawn or thinking about one. You may be yawning right now talking about this.
I'm trying so hard not to do it. Well, it's like...
Oh, I did it. I yawned. It made me yawn right away.
You wouldn't know this because you never went to college, but I just had to throw that in there. Like when I go to like my big lecture classes, as soon as one person coughs for the first time, it doesn't stop the whole class.
Okay. So this is really interesting to me.
The whole class, it does not stop. And I know they don't have to cough.
The first time it happened to me, I don't know what I'm going to sound like right now, but I'm a big fan of classical music. So Mom and I saw Yo-Yo Ma in New York when we were younger. And
it was like 5 years ago.
No, Mom and I have seen Yo-Yo Ma a number of times live, not just once.
What?
Yeah.
Was I alive?
Probably.
You don't even know.
I mean, the last time we saw him was 2018. God, is it 2024? So 6 years ago. Saw him in Washington, D.C. But the time before that, I don't remember. We were in New York. And he'd play for a while. And throughout the playing, there's this smattering of like, like throughout the crowd, right? He'd stop playing. And then it was silent. Like during the intermission. Silent in the place. Then the little bell would ding, gives you the idea, like, in a couple of minutes, he's going to start playing again. And as soon as the pressure hit some people that they had to be quiet, they started
they start coughing.
Coughing, yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I know, it's so annoying.
Is that pressure?
It's annoying is what it is.
Okay. Why in a moment when quiet is required, do some people cough? Is this a thing that I'm noticing and no one else is noticing, or is it going to heightened awareness of silence? This is what I think it is. Nervousness or anxiety. Intense situations such as during exams, important meetings, or performances, it can make people anxious or nervous, and anxiety can lead to physical responses like dry mouth, throat, which triggers a cough. It's a kind of nervous tic that releases some of their tension. Tension to respiratory sensations, psychological influence. There's also an element of suggestion. When one person coughs in a quiet room, they might become more aware of their own throats and then feel compelled to cough.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
It's fascinating. Like, as soon as you need to be quiet, someone's like,
That's why, that movie, A Quiet Place?
Yes. Everybody be dead.
No one would survive that.
Everybody be dead in 10 minutes. That's right. Who wrote that?
John Krasinski.
From The Office.
I love him.
You didn't get that part right?
How do you feel about him and Emily Blunt?
She seems fancier than him.
Right. But also, I find him to be more attractive than her.
What say you? Why is this?
I don't know.
He's a man who's gotten much more attractive as he's gotten older. Am I right?
She's gotten more manly, I would say.
Really? I thought it was weird that he was going to play
Fantastic Four.
No. He's in an Amazon series that was pretty good. Jack Ryan.
Oh, yeah, I never watched that.
Yeah, he was believable in it. But see how his face is built up and gotten.
No, I can't see what you're looking at.
His face. You think about his face. He looks more rugged.
Oh, I thought you meant in the show.
No. He looks rugged now. Like he filled in.
Yeah, more manly. He seems more manly now. And he's very strong, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's from being rich and being able to lift.
Go to the gym and stuff.
Do all that stuff all the time.
But I don't know,
You think he's the better looking person in their relationship?
I think so. I also think that Emily Blunt looked much better with her red hair than her blonde hair.
Really?
I think the blonde hair makes her look older. And I also think that she's one of those people that's she was cast in a couple good movies and now she's just cast in some terrible stuff, but people will just be like, oh, it's Emily Blunt.
You think she had such an opportunity after your favorite movie?
Yeah.
Is that your favorite?
Also.
Wait, is that your favorite movie?
It's one of my favorites.
Devil Wears Prada?
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I can watch it.
When I took my, when I was in sophomore year of high school, junior.
Yeah.
I forget. And I took those college classes for film.
Mm-hmm.
I put that down as one of my favorite movies. And I remember the professor being like, that's one of the best choices that I've seen so far. And I was like, mm-hmm.
Do you know what year that movie came out?
Yeah. 2006.
How do you know that?
Because I love that movie.
How did you just know that? Oh my God, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's very famous, but she hasn't been in a lot of good movies. Am I wrong? I mean...
Yeah, she hasn't.
Yeah, Gulliver's Travels, The Wolfman. This is stuff nobody's seen. Arthur Newman. Edge of Tomorrow was awesome. With Tom Cruise. That was great. Where they it's Groundhog Day. Do you know the movie?
I've never seen it.
Edge of Tomorrow is really good. You should watch that.
Oh, I finished that movie I was telling you about yesterday.
Oh, let me say she was in Looper. I enjoyed Looper. Oh, and Sicario. You ever see Sicario?
No.
That's a good movie.
But I'm talking about now. She was in Oppenheimer. I know that.
Yeah.
But
But right before that, the movie she did before that was Jungle Cruise with like...
Yeah, I was going to say it's with The Rock or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
And that last thing, Fall Guy, I put it on the cable, but let me just tell you, it's not good. You know what I mean?
I don't watch that.
So, all right, go ahead. I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
Also, you know what I feel terrible about? That the woman who plays Pam is not close to as famous as John Krasinski.
You think she should be more famous?
I don't know that she should be more famous, but I mean, he really leveled up compared to her.
Pam Beesly.
What's her name?
Pam Beesly.
Yeah, no, the actress, Jenna something.
Oh, played by Jenna Fisher. I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah, God.
Sorry. Jeez. I'm sorry I don't know her name.
You're coming at me today.
I'm sorry I didn't know her name. Yeah, I mean, she's making a podcast. I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah, with the Angela woman, right?
What a lowly profession. Yeah. No, I see.
Podcasters.
He really did. Like, let's go through them, right? Most of them didn't do much. Rainn Wilson's just like professionally they must be all so wealthy. That's what I keep thinking. Like Rainn Wilson.
Yeah, especially because it's still on all those platforms. It's still like you go to a hotel, The Office is playing.
Always. Steve Carell's got to be
always.
Steve Carell's got to have like a mountain of money, right?
Yeah, he's also been in so many movies. He's in one of the best rom-coms of all time, Crazy Rich Love. Everyone should watch that.
What is it?
Crazy Rich Love, Dad. You've seen it. Come on.
Have I really? Crazy Rich Love?
It's a great movie.
Whoa. I know we shouldn't believe this stuff online because whatever, but his estimated worth is $80 million. So, yeah, maybe that's why she's making a podcast. Maybe she's just doing it because
What's her estimated worth?
Hold on a second. What's her name again? Jenna Fisher.
She was in a sitcom for like 5 minutes, and then that ended too. Being divorced or something.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the interweb has her at $12 million. You can make it with that. That'll get you through, don't you think?
I'll take 12 million.
I read somewhere that Jenna Fisher made 30 to 40,000 an episode for the first 3 seasons of The Office, and after that, this is like Reddit. And after that, what? I don't know. But these I'll tell you what, the podcast.
Let's give her.
You know, they just sold that Smartless podcast for a big pile of money again. Like they sold it once, like 3 years ago, and then they sold it again to SiriusXM.
So that would be around $840,000 a season for the first 3 seasons. So times 3. So she makes $2.5 million for the first 3 seasons.
Then she's got to get a raise from there. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of money, but think about it. It's not that much money.
It's not live the rest of your life money. It'll, especially if you're spending it living like in California and stuff like that, it's going to go away, right?
Yeah.
They don't even pay people like this anymore. I don't think. At one point, she was raised to $100,000 an episode. Is that back when they were doing 24 episodes a year?
Yeah. So that's what, 2.4 million a year. Let's give that. Let's give that like 4 seasons. That's 9.6 million.
Yeah, she's got hopefully.
But still, it ends, and then what?
Well, yeah. I mean, you could make it through your whole life with $10 million, but you really have to try.
Yeah, but not if she started spending like, oh, I'm making money now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like she'd have to try, meaning she'd have to live like a regular person.
Yeah.
Maybe she does.
Isn't that like so interesting how quickly money goes?
Yeah, it's horrifying, actually.
Yeah.
So the coughing thing. So how many other things are we doing because of people around us? Laughing, yawning, coughing. So hold on. Laughing, yawning. I'm going to yawn again, by the way.
I wonder if we blink when other people blink.
I just yawned again. I seriously. All right. So I asked, what else do we do because other people have done it? Let's see.
Maybe like touch our face a certain way, move our hair.
This phenomenon is often referred to as social contagion or behavioral mimicry. Smiling. Oh, that's nice to know. Clapping. I think you smiled when I said it was nice to know about smiling.
I laughed at you.
Oh, because you were because I was being like, oh, I really think that's nice to know because you could smile and other people would smile too. I smiled at a lady in the parking lot today at the grocery store and she smiled back at me.
Well, that's great.
It was really nice.
No, it was, but I have a thought in my head right now.
Go ahead.
I remember watching a show or something, and they were talking about like, oh, like how do you know if it's like a young girl? She's in high school, and she was like, I want to know if my crush is looking at me, but I like can't tell. And they did like a yawning test.
Oh.
So she started to like fake yawn every time that she looked away from him or something like that to like fit, because if he saw her doing it, because it's all about if you have to see the person doing it, right? So you're gonna yawn.
I mean, it's every time you say it, I yawn. Go ahead.
So she like turned away and she was like, every time I felt like he was looking, I would yawn. And then I would kind of like turn my head back to that area. And she was like, and finally, like I saw him starting to yawn whenever I did.
That's a good tip. That's a pro tip, a flirting pro tip. So do you want to know what else we do around each other? Smiling, clapping, a standing ovation. If you stand up and start clapping, is that why we have to stand up at like sporting events and concerts? Because once somebody stands up, everybody does it?
No, I thought that was just kind of respect.
Standing? I never understand.
Like standing ovation?
I'm at a baseball game. I can't sit and watch it. One guy stands up. Everybody stands up. Now we're all standing for 9 innings, which I don't mind because I'm used to standing at your games. But like, also, here's one. Crossing your arms or crossing your legs.
Oh, I was walking like that yesterday because I was cold because it's getting cold here now. And someone walking towards me, I saw them look at me and do the same thing.
Cross their arms.
Cross their arms, yeah. Almost like, oh yeah, it is cold out. I'm going to cross my arms now. Like, you've reminded me that it is cold and blah, blah, blah.
In a modern phenomenon, if one person in a group checks their phone, often other people's will very reflexively.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Giggling, similar to laughing, giggling can be contagious, especially in awkward or quiet situations. Looking in a certain direction. You can look off and get other people to look off in that direction as well. Eating.
Well, yeah, but that makes sense because people will be like, what are you looking at?
Yeah, I know. But also you could just not look that way. Eating, nodding. Start nodding. People nod along with you. Right. Scratching or touching your face.
Yeah, that's what I said. Touching your face, probably.
And in group settings, like a meeting, if one person stands up to leave, others may start to stand up too. Almost like they think like, oh, it's winding down or I'm bored and it's now okay to leave because someone else has done it.
Yeah, it's like one person closes their laptop in class and suddenly the class is over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay. And I always sit there like, do we not have like 10 minutes left? Like, what are we doing? Like, what?
One person that's like.
One person gets up to go and there's like 7 minutes left of class. The professor will be like, okay, guess that's it for you guys. Goodbye. Like, you can't control them anymore. It's insane. It's crazy.
It's a wild herd of like people leaving.
Yeah. And I always sit there and I'm like, no respect. That's crazy.
I think you and I have done a public service here today with us. You agree?
It'd be a public service if any of these people could take my exam for me.
So far, we've done inner monologue, money, fingernails, what blind people see. Why don't people get...
What about being itchy? Like lice? Like when you say lice and people think their heads are itchy?
Okay. When you think a bug has fallen on you.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what about when someone talks about having lice? When someone talks about having lice, many people immediately start to feel itchy and may begin to scratch their heads. This is a psychosomatic reaction where just hearing or thinking about something triggers physical sensations in the body, even though there's no real cause, like actually having lice. Your awareness is heightened. You can get a sympathy itch, or even the like hypnosis, like the power of suggestion, causes your brain to trigger the physical reaction. Does your head feel itchy now that we're talking about it?
Yeah, on the left side.
Yeah, I have one I feel like in the middle for a second.
I also kind of need to take a shower, so I'm not really sure what's going on here. What was I just going to say?
Have you ever seen a close-up look at the bugs that live on your skin?
Yeah, I'm good.
You don't want to do that?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'll be good without that, I think. Just personally. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So how's school going?
It's fine. I have a lot of work to get done this week before I come home, so I'm not doing it all at home.
Okay.
But other than that, it's whatever.
What are you and I doing together when you come home? Do we have any plans?
You should not tell the internet about that.
Why? Because I need to get the other thing?
What were you talking about?
Well, you've been gone for a while, so my eyebrows are a wreck.
My eyebrows are too. I plucked a little bit right in here and right here, but it's never the same.
Mm.
I have to get my nails done too.
Mine are straggly. No. I had to like do some like weed whacking up there on my own. But my eyebrows suck, right?
Yeah, mine are great.
You do have great eyebrows. Mine are terrible. I don't like them at all.
Yeah.
But we're gonna tan together.
Dad, don't tell the internet that.
Why?
Don't do that. Don't tell them.
Don't tell them about UV?
No, just as a man, don't tell them that you're getting.
We came back from vacation. And
I know. I understand.
Yeah.
I completely get it.
I feel like I looked better with a little bit of a tan, and now it's starting to fade, and I kind of want to punch it back up.
Everyone looks better with a little bit of a tan.
I'm going to punch it back up a little bit. Is there anything wrong with that?
No, I'm just...
Am I the crazy one?
What was that?
No,
Is that an impression?
Something from a thing, yeah. That you wouldn't know about. Hold on a second. Sending you a picture. I think you need to see.
Okay. I mean, sure.
Let me know when you see it.
Stop. Don't send me that, Dad.
It's just a little bug that's on your skin.
Is there a bug in the bug?
Is there a bug in the bug? No, that's a picture of the bug. That's its mouth. With all the little feelers and the pinchers and everything on it. It's crazy that thing exists and you don't know it's there. And it's probably right now, like in your butthole or between your teeth or on your toes or something like that.
You picked probably the 3 worst places.
And it's, well, yeah, I'm thinking of where would I, if I was a bug, where would I really want to be? In the dirty spots, you know? So like, but that you don't feel it moving.
Yeah, I don't understand. It's like we're their own little universe.
That's right. You're the universe
so crazy.
for one of those little bugs.
It's like, when does it end?
Again, are there bugs living on those bugs?
Because I'm the Earth's version of this.
Yeah, you're a little bug living on the Earth.
Yeah, crazy.
There can't be bugs living on the bugs, right? Because we'd see it with the microscope, wouldn't we?
No, it's probably not strong enough. There probably is bugs living on the bugs.
Wait, are there bugs?
It's just literally, it never stops. What if you got reincarnated as this bug?
I mean, it might be relaxing. I don't know. I was listening to an interview today about somebody making French fries, and I was like, that sounds like a nice, relaxing job. Okay, so I said, are there bugs living on the little bugs that live on humans? Yes, there can be bugs that live on the bugs that live on humans. This is part of the concept known as hyperparasitism, where parasites themselves have parasites in the context of...
Yeah, and so on and so forth, and this shit never ends.
Well...
This is why it's like, what... Like, we know about our universe, but what about other universe? Like, it's not crazy to think that there's like other stuff.
Viruses are alive, right?
Yeah. Or what about like how like the coral reef is alive or whatever?
It feels like an apartment complex of people who just needed a place to stay to me, and they just jump up.
What?
Like, right? Because a coral reef is just living things that live on a rock, and then they die and leave their exoskeletons. Isn't that what it is?
Man, I don't know.
Okay, some people, by the way, argue that viruses are alive, but some people say they're not. They don't have cellular structure. They can't reproduce on their own. They have no metabolism. But the argument for them is they can reproduce with help. There seems to be evolution, and they interact.
Sounds like me.
What sounds like you? They can reproduce with a little health? With a little help?
No metabolism.
Your metabolism's pretty good, don't you think?
Yeah, it's average.
A coral reef is primarily made up of living corals and calcium carbonate, which is like limestone structures that they produce. But where do they start from? Like, where do they start from?
Where does anything start from? That has been my question since I can remember.
There's living organisms like coral.
That's why, like, even like I'll hear about other people's like all these different religions or whatever that people believe. And I'm like, this is great. This might be true. I don't know. But where does your thing start from? How did that come about?
Mm-hmm.
And then we just kind of look at each other and we don't have the answer.
Yeah.
Because I know it didn't just pop out of thin air. That's not how that works.
Well, what are the...
I just don't understand how anything was made. Anything at all. I don't get it.
So what are we looking for? Common thoughts about like how the planet began?
No, don't even look that up. It's so deep. It's just because like think about it like this. Like we're made. Okay, our parents make us. We're all these different cells put together. But before humans existed or whatever, there's like plants. But then plants are made from something. Something's made from something else. Everything's made from something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything's made up of something. But how does the first thing get made? How does anything exist?
Yeah.
How does space exist? Because space is made up of things too.
What comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah. So how does space exist? But then if there is no space, what is there? Because even when there is nothing, nothing is something.
Because I was going to say, maybe it's even like the way the coral reef started, right? Like stuff just congregates in one place and then keeps building on itself.
How?
But where did that come from?
How does that stuff get there?
Right.
Yeah.
You should see the extensive like amount of information that's coming back from my question.
Yeah, because it's probably like the greatest question in the world. Like how? How do we exist?
There are several widely accepted scientific theories and concepts about the beginning of planet Earth and the formation of the solar system. The solar nebula hypothesis, the formation of Earth, the cooling and solidification of Earth, the Hayden effect, Hayden eon, the first few 100 million years of Earth's existence are known as the Hayden eon, a period marked by extreme heat, widespread volcanic activity, frequent collisions with other space debris. It was chaotic.
That's fine, but where did all that come from?
Well, then at the very end of all this, I asked the follow-up question, where did the material for that come from? It says...
And it said, man, I don't know.
The material that formed Earth and the rest of the solar system came from the remnants of earlier cosmic events, particularly from the death of previous generations of stars.
But where did the stars come from?
But where did that come from?
Like, we could just keep going forever.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, it does make sense. It just, you don't know where it came from.
Don't you want to know so bad?
I mean, I'd like to know.
Oh, that is my biggest question.
So the Big Bang Theory is the beginning of the observable universe, 13.8 billion years ago. So I think the idea is that what we're able to know is how far back we're able to look, and that's based on how strong our telescopes are.
Yeah.
Because what's happening to us right now is the end of some reaction or action that happened at the beginning. So wherever the beginning was, there was a beginning, and then it all just kind of moved out in 360 degrees.
When you look into space, you can see like in the past, or you can see like what's going to happen in the future or something, right?
You can see what's coming.
Yeah.
Right.
So crazy. That makes no sense at all.
Singularity is...
That's why when people ask the question, if you could have, they're like, oh, you could have dinner with one person dead or alive. I always say, like, whoever it is that like knows where everything started. Whoever that person is.
That's the person you're looking for.
That is the person I want to talk to.
So there are obviously limits to our current knowledge about this, but this is pretty awesome. You should go to ChatGPT and ask this question.
Do you know in second grade, we were supposed to write an essay on anything we wanted, and I asked my teacher if I could write it on like that. I was like, I don't understand where we come from. And she's like, let's pick a new topic.
How about cats? Do you like kittens? They're furry.
Yeah, actually, I ended up writing a story about how our dog got hit by a car.
Did you? That's what you went to?
Yeah.
And I don't think we're getting the answer to this one.
I know, it's so annoying. It's my biggest mystery.
Interesting. I think some people are just going to say like,
I think that if we were in a situation where you were murdered and I didn't know who murdered you, and someone said, I can either tell you who murdered your father, or I can tell you how everything was created, I'm sorry, but
you're already dead, so.
Yeah. So, whatever.
Even if you were to say, I think God made all of this, that's cool.
Where did he come from?
Where did he come, or she? Where did they come from then?
Yeah.
Exactly. I see your point.
You can't just God. No.
Did God have little bugs living on his skin?
If I was God, I would make sure no bugs lived on my skin.
All right. Let's stop there.
I'd be like, you know what? Let's not have that.
All right. Well, let's stop there. I think we've done a great job today. I hope people stuck to the John Mulaney reading because it was definitely worth it. I appreciate doing this with you. I like getting together once a week while you're away at school. I think this is pretty awesome. I'm getting nice feedback about the podcast from people.
Whoever gives you the bad feedback, give me their number. I'll talk to them.
Yeah? What are you going to say to them? Recently, it was...
It's for when I have to talk to them.
Oh, I just logged...
Wait, recently there was bad feedback?
No, recently there was great feedback about the money episode.
Oh. A money episode.
Yeah, we talked about...
Honestly, I can't lie. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you know when Isabel and I just talked about this last night? She's like, do you think you'll ever...
I literally do so much stuff here. I don't know what we've talked about.
Yeah.
I know we talked about Bridget Mendler, and I know that's where my knowledge ends.
We've talked about internal monologue, money, fingernails, what blind people see, why don't people get sarcasm, Bridget Mendler, and today we did why is laughter, yawning, coughing, etc. contagious.
I remember the what blind people see thing pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a little bit of the fingernails because I just wished you would stop using big words, but that's about it.
Uh-huh. I just logged online to see where. I don't see it here, but what popped up in front of me is there's a person in the private Facebook group that's celebrating their 5.5A1C. They're super excited. So that's awesome. But there were people who liked the money episode a lot. that you and I talked about?
I wish I remembered it. I can't tell you.
You didn't listen?
I don't listen to those.
Arden. Anyway, that brought
I'm supposed to listen to myself?
Yeah.
I had the conversation.
I know, but people come to me and they ask me about what happened on episodes. And I'm like, I say the same thing. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I talk about it and then I ship this off to an editor. So I used to at least do the editing myself. So I would get to hear the conversation again 6 months later. And then when it went up, then people would ask me a question. I'd be like, oh, I just heard this last week because I was editing.
You asked me what I learned in class today, and it took me a while to, like, I only retrieved like one thing of what I learned. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
God, it's a lot to ask.
Do you think people learn while they're sleeping? Like, is that possible? We'll figure that out at a later date. Never mind. All right.
Can we end this? I have to pee so bad.
Go pee. We're done.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
The conversation you just heard was sponsored by Dexcom and the Dexcom G7. Learn more and get started today at dexcom.com/juicebox. This episode of the Juicebox Podcast was sponsored by US Med. usmed.com/juicebox or call 888-721-1514. Get started today with US Med. Links in the show notes, links at juiceboxpodcast.com. The Diabetes Variables series from the Juicebox Podcast goes over all the little things that affect your diabetes that you might not think about. From travel and exercise to hydration and even trampolines. Juiceboxpodcast.com. Go up in the menu and click on Diabetes Variables. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with someone else who you think might also enjoy it. And don't forget to subscribe or follow in your audio app and make sure you have that setting that says download new episodes. Make sure that's checked off. Hey, thanks for listening all the way to the end. I really appreciate your loyalty and listenership. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back very soon with another episode of the Juicebox Podcast. Hey, what's up, everybody? If you've noticed that the podcast sounds better and you're thinking, like, how does that happen? What you're hearing is Rob at Wrong Way Recording doing his magic to these files. So if you want him to do his magic to you, wrongwayrecording.com. You got a podcast? You want somebody to edit it? You want Rob.